Keto versus carnivore. Which is better and which would be more appropriate for me? Should I go keto or should I go carnivore? Or maybe I should just blend the two and be kind of a ketovore and have the best of both worlds. In this video today, I wanted to share with you why I chose to be carnivore. But just because I chose carnivore does not mean that it's necessarily right for you. I want to begin today by giving you just a little thumbnail sketch of each of the two diets, so we're clear in our minds where they are similar and where they are different. The keto diet has three main characteristics, or three main pillars if you like. It is, first of all, low carb. And people on keto measure their carbs to make sure they stay within a certain number of grams per day. Keto is also high fat and it's moderate protein. So the keto diet allows for a wider variety of foods than the carnivore diet does. On the keto diet, you can include meat and vegetables, but also things like dairy and seeds and various other food types. The carnivore diet, on the other hand, is much more restrictive. You eat animals and animal-based products. So you can eat meat, you could eat fish, you could eat eggs, and you could eat a limited amount of dairy, and carnivores differ on how much dairy they include. But generally, most carnivores seem to limit and restrict dairy products at least to a minimum. On carnivore, there is no carbs to count. Carnivore is zero carbs. And so there's no carbs to count at all. You don't have any. And that makes it a little bit simpler. Both of the two diets have their unique advantages. Keto, first of all, has much more flexibility on what you can eat than the carnivore diet does. And it gives you a greater variety of food. But it requires you to be very careful counting your carb intake and also measuring your fats and protein. And the goal of the keto diet is for you to stay in ketosis. So you are more often measuring your blood sugar content. With carnivore, the biggest advantage is its sheer simplicity. You don't have to measure carbs. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to measure portion size. You simply eat as much as you want. And when you are hungry, you eat. And when you're no longer hungry, you stop. It's that simple. You find on carnivore that a lot of things become simple. Your shopping, your grocery list becomes very simple. You're only buying meat and maybe some eggs. Your cooking is simple and your wash up is simple afterwards. So simplicity is the key advantage, I think, of the carnivore diet over the keto diet. Both the keto and the carnivore diet also have their challenges. So what are the challenges with the keto diet? Well, the challenge with keto is that you do have to be careful with your carbs. You've got to be measuring your carbs every day and often looking up a guidebook or a website to know how many carbs are in what products. And you've also got to be measuring and monitoring your protein intake. Many people on keto are also measuring their blood sugar content quite often. And that usually involves a pinprick in your finger and putting the little tab in the machine to see what your blood sugar is for the day, because their goal is to stay in ketosis. With carnivore, its biggest challenge is that it is restrictive and it severely limits what you can eat because you're just eating meat and eggs and limited dairy. Carnivore's other challenge comes into play as soon as you want to engage with other people, and it can play havoc with your social life because, as you know, we all go to many functions and events where there's food, and for the carnivore, those functions are almost always going to involve food being served that we cannot eat, and so it presents social dilemma for us. It creates challenges at restaurants. And it can create almost a social stigma in people not understanding why you only eat meat, and they think you've gone kind of weird, and maybe you have. But anyway, But let's talk about the benefits, because both the keto diet and the carnivore diet have some amazing benefits. The keto diet is great for weight loss. In fact, I think that if weight loss is your only concern, then keto is probably the best option for you because it's less restrictive and it doesn't play as much havoc with your social life or going out or being with friends, and it's a little bit easier to follow in public than the carnivore diet is. And generally speaking, people on the keto diet do lose weight and do lose weight fairly easily and fairly quickly because they are limiting the carbs and they're cutting down on the processed food. They've cut out all sugar, made a lot of great choices with that diet, and that explains why they're going to lose weight. So as I say, if weight loss is your only concern, then I would go for the keto diet because I think it's an easier road. Keto also has some other advantages because the moment you start to lose weight, it's going to have a flow-on effect into other health issues in your life. For instance, if you've got high blood pressure, losing weight is almost certain to bring your blood pressure down. So that's an advantage. Losing weight can also affect your metabolic health markers and improve things like your diabetes or your pre-diabetes or insulin resistance. So keto has some very real health benefits of not only losing weight, but gaining some health benefits along the way as you lose that weight. But let's compare that with the carnivore diet. A lot of people start the carnivore diet with a single goal in mind, and that is they want to lose some weight. In other words, they've tried diets in the past, they've worked for a little while, but they lost out to willpower in the end, and they are really looking for a diet where they can lose some weight, and they see carnivore as the latest diet that people say causes weight loss, and so they launch into the carnivore diet. But they often come a cropper in the first 2 weeks. And this is very common on carnivore. I hear this story over and over again where people say, I've started the carnivore diet, I'm a few days in, I'm suffering, I'm having all sorts of issues, and to make everything worse, I'm not losing any weight at all. And I can understand that that is very demoralizing. But what I always try and tell those people in that situation is that the weight loss will come, but it will not come necessarily straight away. And I think it's better if they actually put the scales away and not focus on their weight at the beginning particularly, but focus more on their health. Instead of writing down your weight each day, maybe write down your feelings and how you're feeling and what's going on in your body and what's happening with your health. That would be a much more positive thing to measure. But weight loss will come on carnivore. Nearly every carnivore I know talks about significant weight loss, and I myself had a slow start with weight loss, but over a 6-month period I've lost over 40 pounds, and that's made a significant difference to me in so many ways. So the weight loss will come, but it's not necessarily fast at the beginning, and it can stop and start. I've found that I had weeks when I lost quite a bit and other weeks when I lost none. So don't be totally preoccupied with your weight when you start the carnivore diet. But here's where carnivore gets really good, because carnivore is going to cause you to lose weight and a whole lot of other benefits will begin to flow. Now, some of these benefits are also true of the keto diet, but I think, and I firmly believe, that the additional benefits are far more on the carnivore diet than what they are on the keto diet. I've only got my experience and the experience of many people I've talked to back that up, but it is certainly my experience. If you've watched previous videos, you'll know that when I started carnivore, I was quite a bit overweight. I had very high blood pressure and been on blood pressure tablets for 12 months. I had a fatty liver. I was pre-diabetic. I had insulin resistance. I had warning signs on my kidneys. And so there was quite a few reasons for concern. So I started the carnivore diet and I lost weight, but then I found that within a month on carnivore, my blood pressure came right down to normal. My fatty liver was reversed. My insulin resistance was reversed, and all of my health issues came right. I actually passed all 5 metabolic health markers at the 3-month stage of carnivore, and I had failed them all when I started. So it was a remarkable health benefit, but those benefits just kept on coming. I found things like arthritis in my fingers, my sinuses, my plantar fasciitis in my feet, inflammation in my joints went away. So many health benefits, but it didn't stop there. And here's where I think that carnivore has a real power, because it doesn't just stop with the physical things. It goes above and beyond, and you soon find it affecting your headspace. Now, I've spoken of this before, but this to me is the real power of carnivore. When you begin to get things like mental clarity and the brain fog lifts. And I was a person who'd never heard of brain fog, and yet I didn't realize until the brain fog lifted that it was there. And suddenly I could see things more clearly, and my mental capacity and my sharpness was 100 times what it was before. And this took me by total surprise. But it didn't end there. I also found I had a new sense of calm in my life. Things that bothered me before no longer bothered me when I was on carnivore. And I had this real sense of calm and peace. I wasn't agitated by things. And there's a very, very strong case to be made for the carnivore diet affecting the brain and things like mental illness. These are huge, because I've had so many people share with me their story where they had, decades of experience of mental illness, and they got onto the carnivore diet and their mental illness totally went away and they came off all medications. That's a powerful benefit. But the carnivore diet's benefits just seem to go on and on. It is more restrictive. It does play havoc on your social life, and there are some factors you've got to consider, whether you can cope with the restrictiveness of the diet and whether you can cope with the confines that it will put upon your going out and your social life, and you've got to navigate all of those situations. And yet I firmly believe that carnivore is the much better choice, and that's why I personally chose carnivore. But which one is right for you? Well, it's only you that can decide. It's your body and it's your health that's on the line. I think the bottom line is, which one is right for you? The one that you will actually do. So which one could you do? Which one do you see as possible, as viable for you? Make your choice and then give it a try. Many people start off keto and then in time they transition to carnivore, and the keto diet is a very good transition plan if you're thinking of ultimately becoming carnivore. So there's a number of issues to think about there. If you'd like to hear more about the unexpected benefits of carnivore that I found in my life, I did make a video on that just recently. I'll put a link to it above. 4 unexpected benefits of the carnivore diet. That is just me telling my story of what happened in my own life. I would like to invite you to join our Facebook group, The Carnivore Pensioner, and I want to say thank you for watching. I will see you on the next video, and keep telling your story.